JoJo has 8 parts, so let's rate the endings of the parts. Clarification, by the ending of the parts, I don't mean the ending theme, I mean the ending of the part, the final chapters, the final episodes. Every story has a beginning, middle, and ending. That's the basic structure, and the ending is easily the most memorable one.
I shall probably mention 100 times, considering this is the internet and y'all will lose your mind, that this is just my opinion. An opinion is not a fact, it's sincerely my opinion. Enjoy.
In the last place is Battle Tendency. It's a good ending for part 2. I would admit that every single JoJo part has a very good ending, including part 2. I really like the comedic parts of the ending, and I really like the anime adaptation, especially the final fight when they played the first opening, and after that the comedy around Joseph's character, that was great. But the only reason why it's in the last place is because every ending after this is just something way more special. Next up, we have the ending for JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 5, Vento Arreo. This is an amazing ending for an amazing part. This is when we start where I literally have no problem with the ending. I think it's really good for Part 5. I can see improvements to it, but for a rocky road currently, I love it. The final fight is amazing. Gold Experience Requiem is probably my favorite moment in the entirety of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 5, or the entirety of JoJo perhaps. Then we have moments such as Civil Chariot Requiem, the final fight, everything adds up to an amazing end. The satisfaction of seeing the final villain of Vento Arreo get defeated that way, and the satisfaction of seeing Giorno win and finally achieve his dream despite the losses on his way, and despite the whole characterization of every single character, and seeing the final ending of the characters we have loved and followed through the entirety of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 5, it's not only satisfying but also makes for a good / let's say great ending. I can see more to it, but for what we have seen, I literally have no problems with it. The only reason why I have it here is because the rest of it are, in my opinion, just even great here. Next up, we have the ending for JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. In my opinion, this is easily the most underrated ending to a JoJo part, simply because a lot of people don't see what I see in it. The philosophy between the ending of the part and the final fight, first of all, was just pure amazing. Bite the Dust arc is easily one of the greatest JoJo arc, top 5 period in all of JoJo, right? After that we got the final fight with Kira, and after the final fight with Kira we get the ambulance scene, which to me it's really good because it foreshadows the philosophy of fate and the arrow, because the way the part 5 ends and the way that Requiem was played with the arrow and everything, and the way that the arrow got stuck into Kira and the whole thing behind it, to me it just represents layers of fate. Despite that, to me part 4 has one of those endings. Let me make this clear, every single JoJo part has an ending that the final context within the goal of their part is usually accomplished in the right terms, but we lose something to us way more important. Part 4 has that, but not a lot of people see that, because in part 4 we gain the battle for the spirit of Mario to finally be a free city from the killings, but we lose victims from the killings, which still might not be as superior to the emotion we feel, but we lose a lot. The ghost of part 4, that includes characters as Remy. We lose Hayato's dad, which we see the final scene of him sitting in the living room with his mom, waiting for his dad to come home, just knowing that he never will. It's a tragedy, but my favorite thing about this ending is the happiness behind it. The final scene is so good because of all the JoJo parts that end with a happy note. It portrays this happiness the best. I love the ending of part 4. After this we have the ending for JoJo Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. Stardust Crusaders is usually criticized for being kinda long, having a lot of minor villains that don't have any substance to the overall plot, but the final part, like the final arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 3, Dio's World Arc, is highly considered as one of the greatest fights in all of anime, and I stand behind that statement because it is one of the greatest fights. And after that, after all this tragedy we built through these arcs, the loss of our friends through the journey, we see Jotaro's satisfaction of defeat, but at the same time that when they are looking through the sky of Egypt, through the journey they went through, is
beautiful. And the final shot on the aeroplane home is one of the greatest moments in JoJo. Thank you. It's a great ending to a part. That's why it sits in this place. Next up, we have the ending for JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 1. I don't really need to explain the philosophy or anything behind it. Just losing the main character in the first part, then the tragedy behind it. Just understand that it's not really Jonathan's story, it's Dio's story. And everything after that, in the context we get after Dio's return in Part 3 and everything, even Part 6 context, makes this ending amazing. It clears out, it's simple, it's great, it represents great character journeys and great character ending, great character ending, and an overall just a masterpiece of an ending for JoJo Part 1. Anthem.
JoJo's ending was very different from every JoJo part. It was a reminiscent of everything that the part meant. The villain was built up in a way that it was a finale that concluded the entirety of every single minor villain throughout the part. The villain was a complex character which described the personal journey of Josuke Gashikata. We got the throwback of everything that JoJolion meant to be and everything that JoJolion is. I am very happy with the ending of JoJolion, and if you ever get around to reread it, because I am pretty sure in the first read not a lot of people appreciated the ending of JoJolion to a level that is deserved. I honestly believe it's a top 3 JoJo ending for a reason. It has a nice build up to everything. It has a good conclusion, it has a good refreshing flashback, in my opinion the top tier dialogue in a manga, incredible character ending for both the villain and for Josuke as well, and an incredible satisfying ending for a part which will be remembered as one of the best JoJo parts and one of the greatest mangas to ever be written in my honest opinion. JoJo's ending is a masterpiece when it comes down to everything that it's supposed to. It represents the themes of accepting your past without letting it define you, living in the present, not being too concerned for the past, not being too concerned for the future. A person losing from the forces of nature to a character which only now got the chance to live the life he really wanted. I absolutely love the ending of JoJolion, and I honestly believe that it deserves to be here.
Next up, we have quite possibly the most popular ending to any of the JoJo parts, the Neon Genesis Evangelion kind of ending for Stone Ocean, the 6th part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. This ending is easily the most unique ending of any JoJo part because it not only is the most risky of all of them, but it decided to take the entire JoJo universe in a whole new direction. I don't really have anything unique to add to this ending because I am sure everyone know it, but the philosophy between Made in Heaven and the entirety of that plan, Dio's involvement in JoJo Part 6, also in overall the involvement of every single character trying to defend their love, and the final emotion I got when reading the final few pages not only is beautiful but one of the greatest things I've ever seen in any piece of fiction. It's freaking amazing. Why is it here though? If it's so good, like what can defeat this? What can be better? Let me tell you a story about something even greater. The best ending to any JoJo part is the ending for JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 7, Steel Ball Run. After a consistent 89 chapters of greatness, we turn the page to the 90th chapter.
What? What? No way! No freaking way!
After we lost the best character from JoJo Part 7, and after we defeated the main villain of the JoJo Part 7, what do we get next? The world! Dio is back to only come up with one of the greatest, if not the greatest fight ever in JoJo, and the satisfaction of winning that by fate and by love to only get a simple ride back home. A ride home that represents everything. The final moment of JoJo Part 7. I will take Gyro home. Finally, let's go home, Gyro. Like we always wanted. The end. Honestly, I never felt so emotional about anything because truly this ending is a masterpiece to a masterpiece of a part. There are so many special things about each individual panel in this ending. I just simply cannot bring into words because just how much I feel about each of them. My emotions when I read it for the first time are the same emotion when I read it for the 10th time. I love it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't make anyone cry just because how sad some of these endings are. Also subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment your ranking of the part. Bye bye.